Hi everyone, my name is Clementine Matsky and I am a broadcasting major. My reading was The Emergence of Hazardous Concepts by Leo Mark. Um, so basically, it was about how Marx was exploring the different concepts of technology and how it kind of shifts over time from something that wasn't really accepted and people like liberals really liked, but then like radicals really were not a fan of, and how it kind of like emerged into more acceptable, and then from there it kind of led its way and gave a lot of people a lot more anxiety as like technology kept advancing further and further, and almost like became like problematic to society. In like the earlier days, like in the industrialization era, technology was definitely seen as more positive, especially from different people, like the more common folk, and from a lot of like more like entrepreneurial rich people as well. Radicals were not a fan though. They did not really like the idea of technology. They kind of saw it as giving like people who didn't have as much money more powerful than them, especially before like even the US almost. It was like seen as like trying to dismantle the oligarchies and the monarchies, and it just wasn't accepted by them, but a lot of the more common people were a fan of it. But over time, as industrialization like advanced a little bit more and technology became bigger, it was like associated with a lot more risks. I think we can see it a lot now. Not that it talks about AI, but I'm a little scared about AI. And how it affects like society's culture and like the environment. He argues a lot that the shift reflects like a broader cultural anxiety about like the growing influence of technological systems. History is referenced a lot in here. It was viewed neutrally, especially like towards the beginning, and then as I said, radicals were not a fan. Marx outlines the rise of technological determination. Technology is seen as a driving force between historical development and it was unintended consequences and alienation, which happened as technology grew. Not a fan. As for like how it could become hazardous to people, technology was kind of like framed in this 20th century discourse where a lot of like people started to notice the dangers around it and realized how unpredictable it was. So a lot of people like gained a lot of different kinds of anxieties, like with their children, with their jobs, with like, am I protected from like technology, like is it gonna become way too big? They had all these different kinds of concerns. um there were like two opposing views of technology that mainly emerged. There was the utopian optimism, which was like the belief that technology could solve all of humans' problems and it would basically lead to like a more peaceful people. This is what the radicals were scared of because they didn't really want that. They don't want something that's more fair to everyone. They wanted something where people are on top, like they're on top and they're in charge, and then everyone else just kind of has to like follow them. And then there was the dystopian pessimism, which was like that technology would undermine human values and societies. So basically, that technology is gonna come in and it's gonna make certain parts of society not matter as much, and like kind of like create a divide. Marx also introduced like an idea of like a technological like sublime, which is where people like view technology with a mixture of like excitement and like is so excited for the future, and then like fear, and they're scared of like what could come. Is it gonna become too much? Is this going to like blow us up in the end, like not like blow us up, but like is this like gonna like tear us apart, like kind of and like this kind of like blurred the lines of like the positive and negative, where like people felt excited but they were also like terrified of what technology could bring them. He basically was just stressing the concepts of how technology is so deeply intertwined and how it became so deeply intertwined into our societal values. He goes over how it like started off as these simple machines, and this wasn't even seen as technology wasn't even a word that was used. It was like brought down and further down the line, but people use more words like machinery. Technology wasn't even in like the encyclopedia, the Britannia encyclopedia, until like 1901, or as late as 1901, sorry. So it just like, I forgot where it was. I'm gonna cut that out. Addressing the concept of technology is deeply in having cultural values. But yeah, so it was basically like stressing the concepts of technology is deeply like, so basically like it wasn't even acknowledged, like it wasn't a word used. And then as society started to progress, we could see more and more people like using it, but like the definition of technology wasn't really full. Like it, like there was like an older version and then a newer version. We can see oh my god, what's his name? We can see Karl Marx. He like mentions technology, but he like tends to go towards like the older words such as like machine and machinery, but he like used the word technology a lot in like the footnotes of his like research, and like from there more and more people just started using it more. But it was like confusing on like what was the proper term, what was not the proper term. Technology was like as like technology continued to like become more prominent, it really affected like social and cultural values and kind of like changed how people view different aspects of life. Like I said in the beginning, like it wasn't valued as much. Like people really appreciated like the smaller piece of technology, like the steamboat, which wasn't like a small piece of technology. Like that was a big revolution, but in the grand scheme of things it was small, but like fit into a bigger puzzle. And then as technology started to grow and advance, it like kind of like shifted how people viewed technology and how society saw it. And then from there was the acceptance, there was the fear, there was the mixture of both. And now we're kind of in limbo where we are excited to see what new technology is going to come up, but we're also a little scared of like, is this too much? Like I said with AI, I'm a little terrified of AI. But basically technology has like shifted from being seen as like an aid to progress, and then it's now like being perceived as like potential like scariness that like requires a lot of like careful management, which is why we have to have like so many regulations on technology now, because people like learned how to kind of manipulate technology, which is where a lot of that fear comes from. Understanding like technology and like looking at it from like the different parts of like the world, like social, cultural, and like is it ethical, is also like being looked at a lot more, like rather than just it's like this is could be very helpful for this. You have to look at the other aspects, like is this good socially, how is this gonna like match up ethically, and then does this follow like our moral values. The perception of technology is kind of like, is it a solution or a problem? People don't really know, because yeah, technology might solve something, but then there's always another problem that comes with technology for the most part. Like an example is, yeah, my phone is very useful, it solves a lot of things, but I'm gonna use different, just kind of scares a lot of people. But yeah, so basically it's just talking about how we evolved with like technology as a society and like as a culture, and like how we're feeling about it now. So yeah, thank you.